Several minutes of commercial-free football starts now.
Here are the Purple Mortgage Guys.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Purple Mortgage Guys, joined with Goose and Tanner, three of us guys that do home loans, and we love talking Vikings football. Guys, this was a fun, I'd say entertaining, unexpected, surprising victory down in Atlanta today, and it did not unfold the way any of us thought. Guys, I'm just going to turn it right over to you. We have not even talked yet on initial thoughts. I'm going to start today with Tanner. Tanner, we lose Hall on the first series. Looked pretty good, looked poised. Missed Hawkinson on a touchdown, ends up with a concussion on the very next play when he's scrambling for the end zone. Goes out. Dobbs comes in, looks a little bit maybe shaken to start the game, and then just stays in there and has some huge third down conversions, scrambles a lot, and overall just unforeseen result. So Tanner, what do you got? What are your first thoughts on the game itself?
Wow. I think for me, I don't know about your guys' thoughts, but my initial thought after that win and seeing Josh Dobbs lead us down the field there was like 2017 vibes with Case Keenum. Just because I think that team after Bradford went down, I think a lot of people probably expected us to maybe be a little competitive, but probably going to have like a 500 record, which isn't to say that's not still going to happen this year. But to have Josh Dobbs have 3 practices with this team, be forced into the role on the road, and Atlanta's not an easy place to play. It's one of the toughest places in the league. They have a really good home record. And for him to just go out there and not try to do too much. And I think Atlanta has a pretty good defense. I think they're pretty underrated. And I think he did everything that he could have today, given how much time he had with this team.
I'll reiterate what Tanner just said. 3 days with the team, but not only that, I think of Baker with the Rams, I think it was last year. He just came in, but Dobbs was probably not getting any reps even with these guys. I just met them. They were pouring everything into Jaren Hall, of course, because that's the path we thought we were going. So, Tanner, I think that's an excellent point. What else you got?
The length of that he's been with the team is one thing, but to not have Christian Darrisaw, who's the best tackle in the league, Justin Jefferson's not even on the field yet. Like his receivers today, after KJ went down, were Brandon Powell and Jordan Addison. And no run game. So I just don't think we could ask for any more. And I think it only feels like it can go up from here. The longer he's with the team and has more, time to build rapport with these guys. Like they're going to be all in on him now. Like he's proved to them that, like in his very first week here, that like he's willing to do whatever it takes to help them win games. And I think the team can really get behind a guy like that. And I think more than anybody, like Josh Dobbs is going to get all the credit this week, but Kevin O'Connell, like, wow.
For sure.
Like
Brian Flores, the defense.
I was going to say one more thing. I thought the talking point was going to be after the first couple of turnovers, is it Hall or is it Dobbs going into next week? And now I think that's pretty clear that with the come from behind win, you got to stick with Dobbs. But Goose, your overall thoughts on the game?
Just really exciting. Like even when there was turnovers, like just this brand of football that we've been playing the past 4 games, like you just feel like you're in every game. And if we have a safety or if we have a turnover, like first few games of the year, we're like, oh, here we go again. And they've turned that around back to even when Kirk was healthy, where it was just like, no, the defense is going to make a play. Like someone's going to step up. And to do that with your 4th string quarterback and Tristan Jackson and N'Keal Harry, like it didn't stop. And it's just fun. It was fun football to watch. And I think there's so many people that deserve credit. Like there's without like the Bijan fumble and the Heineke interception, like we probably don't have a shot in that game. So obviously the spotlight's on the offense and Dobbs getting here, with maybe 2. I've heard mixed signals there if he had 2 days of practice or 3 days of practice. Either way, it's wild. Brent, you alluded to it. It's a little different because it's not just 2 days with the team. It's 2 days with the team that had planned on playing someone else who hadn't started a game yet. And so all resources are in on him. Feel a little bit bad for Jaron Hall. He looked really poised. He looked like he's maybe a little bit better of like a pure passer with some athletic upside. It's funny with Kirk, I'm always like, get rid of it. And I feel relieved when he throws the ball because it's always so accurate. With Dobbs, when it came to crunch time, I was like, stop throwing it, run. And I'm sure defenses can adapt to that, and he'll probably get spied more. But he's a physical runner. Madden's onto something. He is a physical runner. You can't arm tackle him. He's a bigger guy. He's smart. And I texted pretty early pretty early on in the game that there's no way he knows that much of the playbook, and our run game sucks. Like, the only chance we have at winning is like recess football, like spread it out. You run this route and like, here we go. And who knows, maybe there was some of that, but it didn't seem like there was many plays where like he looked confused or he didn't know where a guy was going to be. And it's just really impressive. Really fun to watch. And it's hard because the offense deserves the excitement, but without our defense, without Flores, we don't have a chance to win that game. And I think they're going to be in the shadow, and I'm sure they'll be okay with that, just considering what the offense did today.
Yeah, it was interesting. The defense, I think, will get overshadowed, like you said, but the defense by far kept them in that game. Some of those turnovers, it feels like I don't know this without looking it up, but I think every time we have not lost the turnover battle this year, we've won the game. I think that's true, but going off of memory. But we scored, guys, the most points of the year today. That's insane. Trying to keep it a little bit
Don't
level.
tell Vikings fans that.
What's that?
Don't tell Vikings fans that.
Yeah. But, okay, a little bit of an overreaction, right? I think mostly because it was unexpected. I know, Tanner, you and I predicted a loss. Goose had a win, but maybe didn't see it playing out that way.
I said, when you expect a low-scoring game, we're getting points, baby.
But I think you
Sloppy
thought Hall
football.
was going to go off, right? So none of us expected. I think if we thought Dobbs was in, it was because Hall was struggling mightily. So just the way it unfolded, and even sitting there with 2 minutes to go, I'm like, well, if we lose, this team can win some games because they look like they're not giving up. And you pointed that out earlier in the game when the defense got put in a bad spot. It would be easy to be like, we're on our next quarterback, things aren't going well, and just give up the touchdown. And they had some nice goal line stands there. So
to put this performance in perspective, Tanner didn't think Josh Dobbs would be active for this game. Like, it's insane. It's insane what we just witnessed.
What's the final score if Sean Mannion went under center in the first quarter?
They wouldn't
I don't know.
have a touchdown today.
I would have shut the game off, so I wouldn't have been able to tell you the score.
It would have been like the Dallas game last year. They would have been going.
I think another thing, like another testament to Dobbs, is not only did he like pick up the playbook and learn as much as he could that fast and come in and actually executed, but he was actually even making like calls at the line of scrimmage today. Like, I figure you make like a QB, you take a QB that comes in here in a week, and they're probably just taking the snap, like handing it off, just doing whatever they can to like try and pick up some yards. Like, he's making calls at the line of scrimmage, like recognizing blitzes and twists, and I'm really impressed. Like, he's a super smart dude.
And the adversity even in the game. So you get thrown in, then you have the safety, which probably was more the offense on the offensive line than him. But you have the safety happen, then you have the fumble happen. To be able to bounce back from that, I don't know. I feel like we're overreacting here a half hour after the game. But man, that was wildly entertaining. So
yeah. And I also love it. This is where I thought you were going, Tanner, but I'm glad you said what you said. I like his fire. Like, we're so used to like calm, composed Kirk, which I also appreciate. But like, to see him make that throw on the 2-point conversion and just get up and like show some fire. Like, the Vikings have some good veterans, but they're also very young. And I think they really respond to a quarterback that can get up and flex a little bit and kind of get everyone hyped. So it's just it was a ton of fun to watch. I was expecting, like, if we were going to win, it was going to be an absolutely ugly win. And there was turnovers. There's some things that weren't great, but overall it was good football.
What do you guys think on the injury front? So I thought Powell maybe tweaked his hammy or something a few plays earlier, and he ends up with the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah.
Cramps.
Akers, it looks like online may have torn his Achilles, so second week in a row dealing with that injury for a player. He's probably done for the year. Ty Chandler probably gets some reps going forward. Is Kene Wangu close to being back? What's the outlook there? The running game outside of our quarterbacks today was pretty terrible again. So how do you fix that going forward? I know
I feel like this is this sounds terrible, but the Akers injuries may be actually a blessing in disguise, because the one thing that I've loved with Ty Chandler, even dating back to preseason, is when he gets the ball, he hits the hole hard. And I feel like every single time I watch Alexander Mattison touch the ball, it looks like it takes a minute for him to get to the hole. He's so slow. And then when he gets to the line of scrimmage, he's dancing and running into his vision just looks poor. He just looks horrible this year from front to back. And I feel like watching Chandler dating back all the way to preseason, I'm shocked he hasn't got more touches, because I felt like every time he does, and I think Goose and I have talked about it, it feels like he gets 5 to 6 yards a pop because he hits the hole so fast. So if he gets more touches against New Orleans, that could be, if they're not going to pull up Madison off the field, he'll be running back too, hopefully for the rest of the year.
The second half was better for Madison. I feel like the entire first half, he got to the line of scrimmage and stood up tall. And the blocking wasn't great, but there's at least opportunities to fall forward for 2 or 3. And he was trying to do too much when there wasn't a lot there. And as much as I'd like to say that this is going to be a good opportunity for Ty, I think Cam had done plenty to show that too, and he still didn't get many opportunities. So we'll have to see. We might have a quarterback whisperer in Kevin O'Connell, and I might be all on board for having a offense that throws the ball 50, 60 times and we spread it out. And your running game is just short passes, because
or Joshua Dobbs averaging 9.4 yards a carry.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. It's electric. I mean, if that is your best option with a quarterback who's been to 2 or 3 practices, then that's just going to be how the offense is run, and I think you have to embrace it.
Tanner, is TJ Hawkinson out of your doghouse? Yes or no?
You haven't seen his Twitter yet.
No.
He has to catch a game-winning touchdown this year for me to ever forgive him.
Goose, is he out of your doghouse or not?
Yeah, I think he had a really
69 yards. That last one, you could say he's got to come down with that, but that got punched out. That was a good play.
I agree. I'd like him to make that play, but you see, it was a really good play by the defender. And
people keep thinking I'm crapping on him all the time because he's a good tight end.
No,
but I don't. I'm so irritated that he thought that he had to sit out camp and become the highest paid tight end in the league, and he's not making the plays that the highest paid tight end in the league should be making. That's what I'm irritated by.
Who's a highest paid player at any of their positions that hasn't laid an egg?
Travis Kelce.
No, the first 3 weeks of the year he didn't do much.
You're going to have, every player is going to have games. The greatest of all time has games where you don't put up statistics, but he's having drops every single week. It's consistent every single week.
Purple Morning, guys, we're picking at a scab here on a Sunday afternoon after an improbable.
I'm so
a deep dive for a Thursday.
He had a really good game with one ball that got punched out.
What about Jordan Addison's vertical? Did you guys see that? I think he walked underneath of him there.
Unbelievable catch. I mean, I just keep having plays pop into my head of turning points of the game, and it was just electric. The catch, the hold on to it after the big hit, the feet down, insane. I'm also still a little, even though I'm not 100% certain that the ball was out by the time before or after his knee hit the ground, but them not even looking at Taylor Heineke because he was giving himself up. You're diving head first. That's never been giving yourself up in the NFL unless you fall straight down. He's laying out all game long. I think Harry popped it out a half a second before his knee hit the ground.
razor thin there. That was so
Yeah.
close.
And the fact that they didn't even look at it just pissed me off.
Well, they said he gave himself up. So basically, well, I mean, yeah, if he would have dropped it before the knee hit the ground, I guess.
Yeah.
Lots of excitement, guys. Let's while we're continuing to unpack it here, we typically get into a rant and a rave. So I don't know if Tanner's little TJ thing counts as a rant, or he wants to go a different direction. I'll let him decide
like
that.
he was ranting.
Goose, I'm going to put you on the spot, though. We got to start with a rave. So you can take the elephant in the room. You can take your defense, which you typically like to do. But I'm going to let you get the first one off the board here.
I have to. As much as I want to find something different, I have to go Josh Dobbs. I mean, it's unbelievable. Tanner mentioned it. He was making checks at the line of scrimmage. His competitiveness, all of his big runs seemed like it came on like a must-have it play, 3rd, 4th down, guys at his feet, run someone over, shrug someone off. Just insane. And I'm excited to see what the rest of the season brings. It would be hard to go to Jaron Hall again after that, which again slightly bums me out. He had 118.8 passer rating and had a heck of a drive, but I think you run with Dobbs, let him learn the offense a little bit more. Hopefully JJ comes back. I'm hoping after a win you have to bring him back now. Whereas the first half of that game, I was starting to wonder.
Your text did not confirm that in the first half.
Well, I always thought it was kind of like a matter of fact. And then they started talking about like uncertainty, the broadcast did, when they interviewed the team. And when Jaron Hall goes down, and there's no way in my mind that I could ever anticipate Dobbs being able to run the offense like he did today. So I don't think I would have brought JJ back either, but I think Dobbs saved Vikings fans some entertainment this year.
Nice. Tanner, one name to rave about. One player, one coach, one person. What do you got?
Yeah, since Goose took Dobbs, I'll take Kevin O'Connell, the quarterback whisperer, to have Jaron Hall ready to go. He looked good in the 2 series that he played for the most part. And then to have a guy that, like we've already talked about, had the playbook for less than a week and came in and led us to a win. I think that not only for him speaking great to his QBs, I think it just as a leader as a whole, I think there's a lot of adversity that we had to fight today with all of the injuries that we've sustained here this year. And for us to be on a 4-game win streak right now and right in like if the Eagles lose today, like we're right in the thick of things for like a game and a half out of first place in the NFC. Like it's not likely that we're going to win the NFC, but like it's crazy to see that we started the season 1-3 and now here we are. So
and without JJ,
and without the best offensive non-QB.
4-0 without JO or without J.
Hey, if we lose JO, it's over.
Yeah, I agree.
The one thing I looked at before this game, I'm like, I just feel like if you go 2-2 over the next 4, you're setting yourself up for an entertaining December and into the season. And that was today. Obviously, it's against Atlanta. You got the Saints coming up at home. Then you go to Denver and you host the Bears on what's supposed to be a Monday night game. I feel like now the ceiling has changed quite a bit just after what I thought was an improbable win. So my name that I'm going to throw out there, it's too hard to pick one player off the defense. So I'm going to go with Brian Flores. It's probably a season-long award or a name that could have been mentioned, but there's no way with Ed Donatel back there today that we are even sniffing a 4th quarter comeback. It would have been a disaster. So Flores, I think he's the man. So guys, give me
we'll just have to say a prayer that Brian Flores
doesn't get head coaching done.
Doesn't like head coaching. Just wasn't for him, and wants to see it through with the Vikings.
Maybe we'll leak a story about him and ownership not getting along or something. Just what do you got for a rant? We did win the game, but there was plenty of things. It could have easily gone the other way. We'll put it that way. Tanner, I'm going to start with you on this one. What do you got for a rant?
I'm gonna say Alex Madison. So I've been a big Madison fan. Yeah, I don't care. I've been a big Madison fan ever since they drafted him. But this year, I'm just at first I thought it maybe was blocking the offensive line, but the more and more like I watch him every week, I feel like I can run playbacks, and I feel like there's holes that he misses numerous times. Like it looks like he just gets the ball and like I don't know if he just puts his head down, his feet stop. Like he just doesn't look like the player he's been the last 2 years. And I felt like the last 2 years, every time he touched the ball, he was the perfect complement to Dalvin Cook. It seemed like every time he touched the ball, he was always falling forward for at least like a yard or two. But this year, he gets to the line of scrimmage, and it just looks like he stood up every single time. Like I'm just really disappointed, and I'd like to see a change of pace there and somebody else to get touches. I'm kind of sad that they didn't involve Cam Akers more since they traded for him.
I'm really curious how we are going to find 2 more rants between Goose and I, because I feel like there was nothing glaring to me. So I'm going to let Goose go first as I ponder where to go with this question.
It's going to be a slight spin off of this. As masterful as KOC's been with the quarterback play, I think it's just it just feels like he's stubborn about Madison. And so I think grasping for straws here, the Vikings could have got blown out in this game, and I would have been like, well, I mean, what do you expect? And so it's really hard to pick a rant in a game like this. But through the season, and then I think it kind of showed today until we needed to come back, and then Cam Akers was in the game. Like it seems like he rides Alexander Madison a little too, gives him way more opportunities to kind of get into a rhythm, and I'd like him to play more of the hot hand and give guys like Chandler, who's done a lot with their very limited opportunities, to get a chance to show what they have. So
Yeah,
I would say KOC's been a little stubborn.
I don't know if you guys saw too on I can't remember if it was the crazy first run that Dobbs had or if it was his touchdown run, but Cam Akers laid some dude out.
Did he really?
Yeah.
He depleted the dude, like he left his feet. Like it was pretty stunning. Like Cam Akers isn't a like huge dude. Like I think he's like 5'10", but like 220 or something like that. Like it was pretty cool to see a dude like that lay a wall up on a linebacker or a safety or whoever that was.
Only thing I could say, and this is nitpicking, and I feel bad because he's probably done for the year, but if you're going to go with the gadget play and you're going to have Cam Akers throw the ball, just let him throw the ball out of bounds if it's that or to lose 8 yards. Granted,
Yeah.
Dobbs made up for it a play or two later with the long run, but I don't know. There, as weird of a game as it was, there wasn't anything that was super frustrating. Maybe it was our expectations.
Josh Oliver? Goose, you want to hit on Josh Oliver?
I don't know, go there, I guess.
I thought you might go with this one, Brent. So Tanner, since you gave me the open door, Josh Oliver, all you hear about him is how big and strong he is. And I just feel like he not once has looked like this big opposing tight end.
He does when he blocks.
Yes.
Like he sustains people and like stonewalls them. But like I get what you're saying. Like when
The
he
amount of times
catches the ball, put your head down and run over somebody, dude.
The amount of times he's been tackled by just a single corner, I'm like, dude, you're 6'5", 280. Like, move.
Muscle. Yeah.
And sometimes I think he slows down and tries to muscle like with one arm, and it's like, get your momentum going. Like, just run him over. So that's a slight frustration. The one I thought Brent might be going with was there's been maybe 2 or 3 games this season. We saw it at the end of this game where a team has decided that all they're going to do is run the ball down our throat. And we haven't had an answer for it. And I'm kind of surprised more teams haven't done it. And it's hard because I think Brian Flores really does have to be creative with the personnel that he has to be successful. And part of what we've seen a lot this year is tons of defensive backs, 3 safeties, sometimes 7 DBs between corners. And our linebackers are undersized outside of Hicks. And if a team catches us in that package, and runs no huddle or doesn't allow us to sub. And even when we do sub, we don't really have a huge hog molly up front to plug the holes up. So Jaquelin Roy flashed a little bit. He looked great for a mid-round rookie pick. And then Harrison Phillips has had a couple times the past 2 weeks where he's looked good. But that would be one slight rant that I'm a little concerned about moving forward is our run.
They were gassed at the 2-minute warning there. You could tell that for sure.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think we should cap it off with this. Overreacting for sure, because it's not even been an hour since the game ended. But what's the ceiling look like for this team? And I'm not saying this version of how the game unfolded today, but maybe the possibilities of what it looks like a week, 2 weeks, a month down the road. Dobbs is very familiar with the offense, has the chemistry with the receivers and his players. What does the ceiling look like? Give me a seed in the NFC that you think is the ceiling. So that could be missing the playoffs, could be a 7 seed, 6 seed. I just want a seed and a 2-sentence explanation to wrap us up here today.
Super Bowl or bust.
Whoa.
JJ's coming back. Dobbs is going to figure out the offense. If you want the ceiling of what this team can achieve, no team has looked dominant this year. The ceiling of this team is a 2 seed with a playoff shot, a real good Super Bowl run shot.
2 seed with a
Ceiling.
real shot. Tanner, do you agree, or do you want to maybe temper the expectations a little bit?
I agree with part of what he said. I don't think this is a Super Bowl team. They would have to go on a serious run. I do think they're as talented as any other roster in the NFC when they're fully healthy, with like Darisaw and Jefferson on the field. But
There's a
this is one really great win,
Ceiling.
and I'm going to say like a second round playoff loss is probably like their ceiling.
I was going to say
So I'd say probably like a 3 seed. I don't see them getting past like Philadelphia or even Detroit at this point. Like Detroit has a pretty easy schedule going forward.
So you're saying wild card team?
Yeah. Oh, they're definitely playoff contender right now.
You don't see them catching Detroit. I just want to.
I just don't know if I see them like doing like what 2017's team did, where they went on a run and they had a crazy good defense that year, and we have a good defense, but we're not that. So I also think we had a better receiving trio and probably even a little bit better run game that year. So I think it's a playoff team, but I don't think that they're serious competitors yet. We got to see more.
These are fun to get time stamped because they'll change drastically from week to week. I'm gonna split the difference and say a 3 seed. I don't think they catch the NFC East. I don't think they can catch whoever comes out on top in the West, even though Seattle looked really bad today against Baltimore, judging by the score. I haven't seen any of it. I think the ceiling is probably like a 2017 team, maybe the NFC Championship. We'll see. I think it's almost to be determined. It's way too early because Dobbs really doesn't even know the last names of some of the guys he's throwing to right now, and he's a smart guy. So it's going to evolve. I think that's what makes it so intriguing. We don't even know what we have. This could be an anomaly, or this could be the start of something really cool.
I'll let you guys on the bus when we're rolling to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I'll open the door for you.
All right. Anything to close us out, Tanner? We'll get back here again later this week and talk about a 5-4 team going to play the Saints 5-4 as well. Then next week will be a big game for NFC.
Yeah, 5-4. The NFC is just not like anything like what the NFC looks like right now. Like we very well could. I think this was our third toughest game that we had remaining. I think Cincinnati's going to be challenging when we have to go there, and I think at Detroit is going to be really tough too. So, I think that there is a chance that. I'm gonna come back to it, and I'm gonna say my ceiling. My ceiling here is the 4 seed or the 5 seed.
5 seed.
Oh,
I don't see them catching Detroit. So I'm going to say
you're basically saying they have a chance to win out. And
no, I didn't say
best, that. But third hardest game, you're telling me that with Dobbs having a little bit more time to actually learn the offense, Justin Jefferson coming back, and our team playing well. Their best possible outcome is 5 seed. Ceiling, Tanner.
I mean, the best possible outcome is to win out, but that's not going to happen.
Tanner's realistic. Just when you think you know the Vikings, something happens.
It's unrealistic to think.
You didn't ask for our prediction. You asked for our ceiling, and I gave it to you.
Hey,
Anyways.
a week ago, Josh Dobbs was in the second quarter playing down in Arizona. So we've got a lot to unpack here. That'll make this fun. It'll be a fun thing to watch unfold. So there you have it, guys. Win in Atlanta, unexpected. Moved to 5-4 in the thick of the playoffs. Got a fun game coming up against the Saints. That'll be a big game next Sunday at home at US Bank Stadium. So have a great week. We'll talk again soon. Thanks, everybody.